Hello, my spooky darlings, and welcome to Streams and Screams, the online show thing in which I watch a film that is currently streaming online that I liked, and I tell you about it. Today, in honor of spooky season, I thought let's do something extra scary, extra jumpy, extra traditionally horrific, with a little film from 2011, written and directed by the Vicious Brothers, aka Colin, Minihan, and Stuart Ortiz. The found footage, I'm going to say cult classic, sure, why not, let's call it that, Grave Encounters. So Colin Minihan has done a couple other films as well. He did this fantastic queer horror called What Keeps You Alive. There's also a really excellent zombie flick called It Stains the Sands Red. But this one I think is kind of like the quintessential Vicious Brothers classic tale, I guess, if you will. It was filmed over 10 nights and 2 days. This film is like a true found footage. Like, we have this material, here it is, edited, we don't know what happened to him, brava. That is like the quintessential essence of found footage. To me, it's not found footage if we know what happened to the people. Like, if we find it and it's left over and they left it behind, that is found footage, my friends. So this film, if you are not familiar, is sort of storied around the lost episode of a ghost hunting TV show called Grave Encounters. Title, where the team set up for an overnight investigation in an abandoned asylum, but while their footage makes it out, they never do. Ooh, spooky. So the performances in this film are like such a great parody of that Ghost Adventures type of show that was really big in the late 2000s, early 2010s. It's a very presented performance, very put on, very performative. It's actually kind of really easy to parody. I show you. Now, some say in this very room, you can still hear the haunting screams of the home's first owner anytime you play Bootylicious. It's like it's not rocket surgery, but it's very easy to see. Like, it's very easily identifiable. You recognize it. You know you've seen those performances before. You know exactly what they're doing with them. The moments in Grave Encounters after they sort of call cut, and they keep kind of rolling the cameras and they kind of break that character. That is kind of a perfect showcase of that they don't really think it's real either. This is very much putting on a show for them. This is something that they have to do or want to do because money talks, am I right? So early in the movie, there is a scene where Lance kind of pays a groundskeeper to make up a story about like, ooh, this scary thing he's seen or heard while working the grounds at this asylum. And apparently this is actually kind of not uncommon for folks that have been interviewed in these haunted location stories down the line that kind of come out and say like, yeah, they paid me to make something up, and so I did. Grave Encounters was actually filmed at Riverview Hospital in Coquitlam, BC. So that's right. She's Canadian, baby. So Riverview Hospital was an abandoned mental institution that was built at the turn of the 20th century. So anyways, abandoned asylums are inherently creepy. They're deeply unsettling, full of trauma, all that good stuff. The asylum and Grave Encounters kind of reminds me of like a House of Leaves type vibe, like this House of Leaves type vibe, where it just like keeps growing and growing and they can't get out, and it's like a TARDIS of terror where it's bigger on the inside. The directors kind of set out to do something a little bit different with this movie, where a lot of the other found footage, haunting, kind of ghosty type features of the time, your Paranormal Activities, your Blair Witch Projects, were kind of more subtle with their horror, where, you know, you had moving objects and things sort of slamming doors and et cetera, et cetera. But in this film, like, the ghosts like run at you, they grab you. It's very, very physical. And you know what? It works. It's effective. No shade to the classics, but this is like way more fun and threatening, I think, is the big point with this film as well. It feels threatening. You feel unsafe while you're watching this movie. I mean that in the best way possible. So this film is interesting because it is kind of about this group of ghost hunters who don't really believe in what they're doing. They're clearly just kind of doing it for the clicks, doing it for the views, for the attention, for the potential that comes out of that particular genre of television style, I guess. But in this kind of location, I guess they get a lot more than they bargained for. It's interesting because even when early in the film, when there's like some light signs of haunting, they kind of realize what's happening, and like their intentions are not pure. They're immediately thinking they just want to make it a money. So this is kind of like Grave Encounters is what happens when a ghost humbles you. This is like a haunted hubris, if you will. As a complete side note, I would love a supercut of every time in like a found footage movie where a character says the line like, no, we have to keep filming. We have to document this. I feel like that would be a lengthy supercut and also kind of fun. Like it happens a lot. It's just such a cliche. Every time it comes up, it just, but like you kind of love it at the same time. Internet, I call upon thee, put that together, if you will. Maybe it already exists. I haven't looked into this. Anyways, back to Grave Encounters. So this is a very stressful film that like feels claustrophobic despite the massive square footage of this building. They do a really good job of making you feel locked in. It really feels inescapable, and there's like an oppressive terror of darkness that kind of permeates throughout this film, where you know that if they lose the light, if they turn a flashlight off, if anything happens, it's going to be really bad. Yeah, it just sort of creates this feeling of dread that is constantly pushing through the film. It's effective. It's also especially bleak, which naturally I love. It's a very bleak ending. It's kind of like the ending is, but all in all, like just the way everything unfolds is incredibly bleak, which I particularly like. Now, with Grave Encounters, there is, of course, the typical downsides of a chaotic found footage film. Running is hard sometimes. People scream a lot. CGI was not very advanced, you see, in the Canadian indie horror scene, but it's forgivable. The atmosphere and the dramatic escalation, I feel, are worth the price of admission. It's an incredibly simple premise, but is actually very effective. This film made $4 million on a $100 million budget, and that's an indie Canadian horror film in 2011 with no domestic release, by the way. This was purely international. Like, Italy loved this movie. So, this holiday spooky season, if you're looking for something that is going to tickle that found footage, that supernatural, ghosty, Canadian kind of itch, why not turn off all the lights? I would recommend that. And settle in for a good scare, why don't ya? Boo! Boo! I gotta stop this before he destroys things. For a double feature, I feel this would pair really well with Gojim Haunted Asylum from 2018 from South Korea. Boo, I swear. My goodness gracious, buddy. Grave Encounters is now streaming on Amazon Prime and Tubi, and you can check it out there. Let me know what you think in the comments. Boo, oh my god. Let me know what you think in the comments if you've seen it, if you like it. If you have other suggestions for movies that I should talk about, let me know. And I hope you have a wonderful Halloween, buddy. Okay. Bye.